Another Arctic blast will have people shivering all the way down to Florida as the Northeast gets hit with another major snowstorm. I'm Kyle Benzion.
And I'm Stephanie DiNardo. The bitter weather in Washington has the federal government closed. NBC's Danielle Lee joins us with more.
Throughout the region, drivers experienced hazardous conditions during their morning commutes.
It's pretty tough out there.
Hundreds of schools have been closed and thousands of flights are canceled. In Washington, D.C.'s metro area, people were making good use of their final hours before the storm.
Toilet paper, all the essentials.
Grabbing groceries, salting sidewalks and streets, and taking their pups out for one last stroll. A few brave souls even looking forward to the winter blast.
It's winter time. It's good.
The storm is expected to douse much of the Midwest and Northeast with snow, wind, and what will feel like sub-zero temperatures.
Wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour.
Add to it a federal heating emergency, more than a dozen states short on propane.
We don't know when we're getting it. We don't know if we're getting it. And all the propane companies are kind of in the same boat.
Snow fell overnight in Indiana, where up to a foot was expected. In New York City, the first flakes came this morning.
I'm really not looking forward to the cold and the snow.
Back in the nation's capital, federal workers have been told to stay home. And around the region, snowplows and emergency vehicles are monitoring conditions. In Washington, I'm Danielle Lee, NBC News.
Like the last time, North Florida could be on the edge of this Arctic blast with a few nights near or below freezing.
We're now joined by UF forecaster Rebecca Kopelman. So Rebecca, when is the second blast of cold air going to hit us?
Thanks, Kyle. That cold air is on its way tonight, but I do want to make some people aware of some storms that are still out there due to this cold front. There is a strong storm advisory in Duval County, and areas south of Jacksonville are experiencing some of these cells with heavy rain, frequent lightning, a couple lightning strikes, and some hail, so do be aware of that if you're headed out tonight or driving anywhere this evening. But for tonight, those temperatures falling after this cold front moves through. A freeze warning is in effect for areas across North Florida. 28 degrees here in Gainesville, 27 out in Stark, and 39 out in Jacksonville, but it will feel even cooler, and I'll show you more on these wind chills and how cold and how long it will last in my next weather update. Back to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. In Miami today, lawyers announced 6 gay couples are filing suit to challenge Florida's ban on same-sex marriage. Florida voters added the ban to the state constitution in a 2008 vote. Attorneys for the gay couples say they believe public opinion is different now and that judges are increasingly likely to rule against such bans. The lawsuit claims Florida's ban violates the U.S. Constitution and its guarantee of equal protection under the law. And a new study shows having guns at home is associated with triple the risk of committing suicide and twice the risk of becoming a homicide victim. The review of 15 studies found the association between the gun ownership and violent deaths in the United States, where 30 to 40% of households have firearms. The study underlines the risk if anyone in the house becomes suicidal and has access to a gun. The authorities say gun owners should realize firearms are far deadlier than other methods of suicide attempts, such as taking pills.
I just think you have to be responsible with them. There's a lot of things that are dangerous, but it's who has the gun more than the gun. I mean, people can be irresponsible if they want to be, but you have to be responsible with guns. Cars are very dangerous too, but you be responsible. You don't drink and drive and you wear your seatbelt, things like that.
The doubling of the homicide risk in gun homes was less clear. Apart from domestic violence, the authors point out it could be people living in high-crime neighborhoods owning weapons for protection but becoming victims anyway. And Governor Rick Scott today announced he wants the state to spend at least $55 million next year on keeping Florida's natural springs healthy. Last year, the governor earmarked $37 million to jumpstart several projects, including one that should help restore the health of Mallory Swamp in Taylor County. Florida's DEP secretary says water pollution needs to be targeted across the board by looking at septic tanks, runoff from urban communities, excessive fertilizer, and the standards from wastewater treatment plants.
Wildlife officials say 2 pilot whales have died and a third will have to be euthanized after nearly 4 dozen whales swam into shallow waters off southwest Florida. Officials say a handful of the whales were stranded near shore in Lee County, while more than a dozen others swam nearby. Several others in the pod appear sick, and biologists will decide if they need to be put down. The University of Florida is making a name for itself in online education, and that trickle of online graduate degrees could explode into large numbers of students getting UF bachelor degrees entirely online. The question is, do potential employers value an online degree less than a traditional college education? WUFT's Bobby Shepsky reports.
Some of the University of Florida's online master's programs are already recognized among the top online programs in the country. And this year, UF is launching fully online 4-year undergraduate degrees. Online education provides an opportunity to those who can't physically attend class to receive a top-notch education. While this may be convenient for some students, others believe it just doesn't provide the same experience.
Coming here helps with the involvement and just learning, getting to work in professional environments, and it definitely helps with internships and stuff like Career Showcase.
While students may disagree on how beneficial an online degree would be, some potential employers believe an online education could be a good thing.
But I'm thinking that the people who are online are going to have a little bit more real life experience because they're going to have the flexibility to also hold a job. And for us at Enterprise, we love to have that experience, so they have the degree and also the experience.
The online classes are so convenient you can virtually watch them anywhere, meaning that the enrollment for these types of degrees is likely to expand.
Well, UFO is starting this semester with transfer students, and then that will start in the fall with first time in college. So, our numbers for online education will certainly grow.
As students begin to look for a more convenient option for education, the traditional style of teaching may not be the same in the future. Bobby Shepsky, WUFT News.
UF Online will continue to add majors each semester. And much more coming on the WUFT News.
Yesterday, the county celebrated the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In downtown Gainesville, hundreds gathered to honor the civil rights leader. We'll tell you about their renewed commitment to the cause.
Plus, the President of the United States weighs in on marijuana use with some opinions that might surprise you.
And despite a scandal, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is sworn in for another term. Those stories and more still ahead. Stay with us.